It enhances the value of our program if our stadium is full and people stay for 60 minutes in the game. We expect our players to compete for 60 minutes in the game. I would love for the students to stay there for the whole game. And I know we've tried to enhance with some of the things that we're doing to try to get them to do that, but that's a choice and decision they got to make.
You don't want to make Nick Saban angry, but telling a college student where to go and when to leave, probably not going to work. But Bama's found another way. They're using an app called Tide Loyalty Points. Students download the app and it monitors their comings and goings from the game. Now, this app uses incentives. For example, for attending games and staying all 4 quarters, the loyalty points they could get could yield improved access for tickets to, say, the SEC championship or college football playoff games when Bama makes them. Now, Bama is not the only school using this. Clemson, LSU, UNC, and many others use it in different ways with varying degrees of incentives. But is this nothing more than an interesting incentive, or is it big brothering of college sports? In other words, are there privacy concerns? So let's talk about this issue with CEO and co-founder of FanMaker, Jason Cole. This is the company that makes Tide Loyalty Points and some of these other apps. So I just want to ask you right off the bat, I've heard it described as Orwellian by some question whether or not it tramples on people's privacy. What do you say to those who say, hey, you go to a football game, you're not expecting to be tracked in terms of your comings and goings?
Yeah, I think among any company working in current tech space, we're remotely, or by far and away, one of the most private. We don't share any data. We don't resell any data. Everything's encrypted and stored. Everything's owned by the university. In Alabama's case, they've gone to the extra level of not utilizing any GPS data from the phone. So literally the only place the app is ever doing any tracking is inside of the student section at the stadium.
Are you concerned at all, or have people voiced concerns to you about there being a slippery slope here? Like, sure, it's the stadium now, but it could be a lot more than that in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's general. If you look at anyone's phone, they probably have a dozen apps that are always tracking where they are. That's not something we like to do. It's not something we try to do, and we try to always make sure, well, not try, we do make sure all of our clients are very, very clearly articulating what the app's being utilized for to anyone that's participating with anything.
The lawyer in me has to ask you, do you require them to not use the app except within certain areas? Do you say there's a limit on the territory they can use it for in terms of tracking?
We leave it up to the lawyers for each one of our clients and how they're going to utilize our software. At Alabama, it's limited to the student section at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I have to ask you this as well. I thought about this. You know, college kids, we know they're smart, and you require them to be at a certain place at a certain time to get an advantage. The first thing I thought of was, oh, just get a friend to do that for you. Pay him to stay there. How do you prevent that kind of circumvention?
Well, there's a couple technical things you can do, and then there's kind of a societal thing. First, by having GPS turned off, no one can spoof the app. You have to be next to beacons we have installed in the stadium that are broadcasting a Bluetooth signal. So the device has to be present there. Second, not many people are going to hand their cell phone off for a 4-hour game to someone they don't know and make sure they can unlock it and open a mobile application.
But if it's somebody they do know, what if it's like a friend or, you know?
You know, I would do that with my spouse. I don't think I would do that with anyone else on the planet. The other thing that we can do if people are using multiple phones or anything like that is we know how many devices are logging into anyone's account. So if there is like systemic issues in that regard, we can address them. And I think it should be noted on this front that the 250 bonus points is less credit than you get for passing a class.
Okay, good point. Also, the issue of incentives. Why was it important for you to offer incentives rather than some sort of penalty? How does that make the system work for you?
We always fundamentally believe it's better to offer a carrot than a stick, especially in this type of environment. So having a bonus point value attached there just made perfect sense in the program, and I have to salute the Alabama staff, Greg, Ryan, Brad, and their work in conjunction with the Student Advisory Committee to really come up with something that works well on that campus and had a lot of student input.
All right, Jason Cole.